welcome back. It's Maria,
Lindsay.
and we are former college roommates who love movies. Lindsay has her degree in film, and I review movies for almost 20 years. And today we're actually doing a little special episode. This one is about the number one movie in the box office right now. That is The Woman King, directed by Gina Prince Bythewood, that you might recognize, and stars Lashana Lynch and Viola Davis, and oh gosh, who else? John Boyega, Sheila Adam, Thuso Madu. It's got a lot of really great people in here, and
Hmm.
it just came out on September 16th. Again, it's the number one movie in the box office, which makes Gina Prince Bythewood like the second Black female director to ever have a number one movie.
Who's the first?
Uh, who was the first? I can't. I don't remember right now, but pretty sure the woman who did oh, cause Candyman's gonna be the third when she gets her Marvel movie.
Okay.
But yeah, so I saw The Woman King on, was it last Thursday? So right before it released. The place I worked for, they actually like hosted a screening, so it's
Oh,
just
that was cool.
yeah. So it's just a bunch of coworkers watching the movie. Um, the audience, even though like the theater wasn't full or anything, but there's enough people in there to get kind of a feel for things, and they really loved it. They clapped at the film multiple times, or like yelling at the screen and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Just excited for what was happening on screen. Um,
Yeah. I saw it Friday and I saw it in MX4D. So that was like the motion seats with the
oh my
wind
goodness!
and yeah. Well,
I don't,
with the MX4D, you got the wind, the water, the snow, all that kind of stuff. But it didn't have snow or rain or anything like that in the
right.
movie. So it was just wind and the movement. But it
How was
was really
that for
cool.
you?
It was pretty cool. Like I've seen other movies in that theater before, but it was pretty cool because with the fight scenes you move with the hits and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did that for a Star Wars movie, and I got really motion sick. So I was like, I can't do that.
Did it? Yes, it's some people like it, some people don't. I took my goddaughter with me. She didn't like the seats. That was her first time in there. She didn't like it. But I think like the best movie I've ever seen in that theater is Black Panther, because Black Panther had
Ooh.
all the elements in there,
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, so that like even with the water because you get squirted with the water, and then
Yeah.
in that one scene where they're picking the flowers and stuff, you smell the flowers
Oh
and
wow.
whatnot. Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty cool. Like everything that they offer, Black Panther had it in the movie. So yeah,
Okay.
but yeah.
So what did you think of the movie, Lindsay?
Well, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the storyline. I enjoyed uh the time and effort that they took to put into the movie as far as like the fight scenes and them getting their bodies together and stuff like that for the fight scenes and whatnot. You can tell it comes out in the movie. So it reminded me of 300,
Mm-hmm. I can see
so
that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was kind of like, for me it was kind of like a female 300,
Hmm.
because you can tell how much time and effort that they put in to getting their bodies together, especially for the fight scenes and stuff with 300, and that came out in this movie as well. So definitely appreciated John Boyega. um I never
Always
looked at him
appreciating
that
John
way,
Boyega.
but I've never looked at him that way, but that man is fine.
He's very
I don't know
attractive.
what I don't know what camera they used, but I need to find out because man, that man is fine.
Yes.
Like I never looked at him that way. I don't know if it was because it was an African movie and he was a king or
Was it the
what,
little
but
curls and the afro that did it for you?
maybe
Yeah.
it was the
The
curls.
facial hair?
Yeah, maybe it was the 1-2 combo for me.
Yeah.
But it was something. It was something abnormal. But I was just like, how did the camera? You know,
Something
he
abnormal happened to me while I watched this movie.
right. And it was so funny because literally every time he was on screen, my goddaughter was like, "He's fine." I said, "I
Hmm.
agree."
She
It was
does.
something. Yeah, it was something with the camera. I don't know. I need to find out what
Something with
camera.
the camera.
Yeah,
It may be something with his face.
that too. But he has the same face in the
Yeah.
other movies, and I've never
Hmm.
looked at him like that. That's why I'm like, it's something with the camera, you know. So yeah,
Now,
just for
were
him
you
alone.
familiar with the Dahomey Amazons before this?
When I saw the trailer, and I saw that it was inspired by true events, I did my research,
Hmm.
and when I did my research, I was disturbed. I'm not gonna lie, I was disturbed, and I was just like, why in the world would somebody make a movie about that? Like, I mean, we know we know that there was black people part of the slave trade.
Hmm.
That was selling slaves to the white people or whatever. So, but we didn't need to see a movie about it. So I was just like, why would they make a movie about them? And then on top of that, when I started finding out the way that they were just doing things and how brutal it was, I was just like, I don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And then on top of that, I knew that because it's an American Hollywood film, that they was not about to show that, especially not post Black Lives Matter. So I was
Hmm.
just like, and then on top of it, them saying inspired by true events instead of saying based on a true story. That's when I was like, okay, they're completely changing the narrative. And I was like, see, that's gonna give white folks something to say. You know what I mean? So why give them the ammo when it's probably something that they didn't even know about? Like those are my opinions. So I was, I mean, it made me all the more like, okay, I need to go see this movie just to see what was gonna happen. But I still was like, why would they choose this of all things? Why would they choose this? You know. So so I was a bit I was a bit side eyeing the um the choice.
Hmm.
You
And
know.
how did you feel after seeing it?
Um it's like, yes, they do talk about the slave trade, but it was a complete fictional story, you
How
know.
so?
Um they weren't in real life, they weren't trying to get out of the slave trade.
They did at one point try to get out of the slave trade with palm oil. It just didn't work, and they went back to slavery.
Yeah, but I didn't see that part in my research, but I was just like the
Yeah,
the
I
way
actually
that they talked about them and
there's
how
an
brutal it
article on the
was.
Smithsonian on like
Uh-huh.
the Smithsonian website about that, and it mentioned that specifically. I was surprised to find that out too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cuz I was just like, that's what steered me. I was just like, the way, especially the way that they talked about how brutal they was, and they weren't that brutal. I mean, they were on the defense. And if anybody went up against them in the movie, they was handled. And But in real life, like I read about um how they went at their last battle and how they went. I think it was with the French and how they went into the last battle and like they went with like almost 400 and came back with like under 20 or something like that. So they yeah, they was pretty much demolished. So
Mm-hmm.
of course they didn't talk about that at all in the movie.
Well, they
Yeah,
didn't. They really. It's not like they don't go over like the whole history of the
right.
Agoji people and the Dahomey warriors and stuff like that. So we're getting a slice of a piece of time, you know,
Yeah.
of the history. Um, Now, I had been familiar with the Dahomey Amazon warriors for a little while because I was listening to like stuff your mom never told you or stuff you missed in history class, right? And
Hmm.
so they went over this topic for one of their episodes. And I thought
Okay.
it was really interesting when they decided to make a movie about them. Uh, but I was looking forward to it all the same. Um, I know they've been shopping this movie around since like 2015, right? And it's been really
Yeah.
hard to get made um, because you don't really have a lot of black women led action films. Period. Right?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, that's one thing I did see was that Lupita was a part of it and then she backed out.
mhm.
So
I saw a tweet saying that, but I never saw like an article. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So I saw that
Because
she
I
was
was
a
like, I feel like
part
that
of
would
it.
be bigger news.
Yeah, but there's like a video of her because I guess she like started learning about it, and there's like a
Mhm,
video of her talking about it and
mhm,
finding out certain things in her lineage, and
mhm,
she was crying in the video and stuff like that, and I guess finding out whatever she found out about her lineage and then finding out about the Dahomies just didn't mesh well with her together,
mhm,
and she just had to back out of it.
mhm.
So but yeah, I don't know who she would have played if she was in it though.
Right. And I would be kind of surprised if she did, to be honest with you, considering the overlap or the inspiration for the Dora Milaje, is
Hmm.
partially them.
Right,
So
right.
I would like to see that video. But
Yeah.
um, I really didn't have a problem with the idea of them making a movie about a group of people about the warriors who were part of the Agoji, who were doing, were slave traders because
Hmm.
that actually happened, right?
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of people knowing that. Like people should know that, right? Um, it helps us all be more honest about history in general and how it plays into current events. So that didn't
Hmm.
bother me. But yeah, I mean, any film was probably one of the first lessons my mom taught me that I can remember really is like TV and film are fake. Even when they say based on true events, even when they say inspired by, honestly, to me, those two terms mean the same thing, right? Um,
Hmm.
we're just going to, tell a story with a lot of the facts, but not all of the facts. And part of that can be due to they don't want to do that, or also due to the limitations of film, right? So this movie is like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Hmm.
But still, like one of my complaints was in the first like third of the movie or so, there are a lot of very, very short scenes, right? And it
Hmm.
just seemed like to me they were cut off before they could kind of mature. Like they were kind of rushing through some things to try and get you to, the bigger story they wanted to tell. And
So
it just felt like, oh, I wanted to be in that moment just a little bit longer or something, something like that.
So, what in particular do you feel like they rushed through?
Just some things at the beginning where it comes to like the culture and the culture of the Goje and just dealing with some of the lives of the main characters. To me, it was like, ooh, some of the scenes were like, oh, I like where this is kind of going, and then it just immediately ends. Or I would like to see more about this character, but the scene just kind of just ends. And I was like, this is another kind of limitation of film. Like, I was like, oh, this would be great as a show where you can
Hmm.
really like get into the characters and stuff like that. you know.
Yeah. So, are we gonna do spoilers or no spoilers?
We can do spoilers.
Okay. I'm kind of with you a little bit on that because when the one warrior with the nails,
Hmm.
when she died,
Yeah.
I don't think we cared enough.
Oh, I think we cared. In my theater, they cared a lot.
Did
They
they?
cared a lot.
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
wasn't that many people in my theater, but I like we. It was like we cared, but it should have been a tearjerker. We cared.
I think it was. I felt
I
like it
don't.
was.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was. Like I feel like if it what's her name, Nastasha.
Hmm?
Is that Viola Davis's character's name? Nastasha?
Oh, uh, Laniska. I think.
Naniska, right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. If it was Naniska's right hand,
Hmm.
I feel like we would have cried.
She is
But
Laniska's right hand.
no, not the one with the nails. The one with the
Yes.
no, the one with the
Played by
nails.
Lashana Lynch.
The one with the nails was the one that was captured and
Yes.
she got shot.
Yes.
That wasn't the one with the right hand. The one that
Yes.
wasn't the one that was her right hand. No,
Yes.
no, it wasn't. That's somebody
Yes.
else. That is
No.
somebody
She
else.
is also her right hand. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, so you're saying she got two right hands. I'm looking at her just having one right hand, the one that she shared the room with.
No, that was her number two. So you have your number one and
Yeah.
your number two.
Wait, why would the one that she shared the room with be her number two?
Because the number one is in charge of training the new recruits. And she was the one who also had expressed the interest in like being the general.
Okay. See, I was looking at the one that she shared the room with as her right hand because she had been there for the longest. She was right there with her through everything. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, she's her bestie. But as far as um like their ranking, whatever.
Okay. Okay. So you're looking at it as ranking. See, I was looking at it all around.
Oh, okay.
So,
No, I
okay. So
felt that
her.
was that really I felt like that was a real gut punch, like
See,
in
I
the
didn't.
movie.
I feel like we needed more character development for it to be a gut punch.
I don't think well for me I don't think we needed it, but I would have definitely liked it. Like I
Yeah.
think that's one thing, because it is a film, you're just not with more characters and like we also have to do these kind of different storylines, we're just not going to get the character development that I would really love to see.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I felt like we should have had more camera time with her for it to have impacted us what like it should have because I don't think it impacted us that much.
Oh, it did us.
Yeah.
It did
Yeah.
us.
See, I think if it
People
was
people
her
were people
best,
were like vocal about it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's me. I'm a weirdo because
No,
I was just like,
your experience can definitely be colored by the audience you're with.
yeah, yeah, that's true too. That's true too. But it was like one, two, three, four. It was like six of us in there. So yeah, it was not a lot of people in there at all. But there was one point where we did clap. But I just feel like if it was her bestie, I feel like we would have been sick.
I was sick because I love Lashana Lynch and she did so amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she
I mean,
was not like her character was really kind of unexpected. Like,
mm-hmm,
yeah. A lot of times movies like this, just like in 300, a lot of the characters are just kind of like grim and very serious all of the time.
uh huh.
And that wasn't her. But she also wasn't like super silly.
True, true. She wasn't super silly. I mean, they kind of humanized the characters. They did.
Yeah, you
Well,
got to.
not kinda. They did. They did humanize the characters.
Yeah.
So, I appreciated that from them.
Yeah. But I do see this here, like they were talking about Lupita was signed up to be the lead, but she exited the role.
Yeah, and see, I can't see her being the lead because that means that
She
she
was
would
gonna
have
be
an adult
Naui.
daughter.
No, she was gonna be Naui.
Oh, and see, she's too old. She's
Well,
like our age.
they might have changed the story, when it was her.
They would
Because
have had to. They would have had
yeah,
to because she couldn't. She can't play no 19-year-old.
because let me see. I was like, how old is this? Because I don't even know.
She's supposed to be 19 in the movie.
No, I mean in real life.
Oh, no, Lupita's our age.
Oh, I know how old Lupita is, but Thuso, who played
Oh,
Naui,
okay.
she's 31.
She's 31. And
Yeah,
see, she looks young. Like, I
yeah,
didn't
she
think
looks
she was
quite young.
19. Yeah, I didn't think she was 19, because she
Yeah,
looks so young. You know what I mean?
but people don't ever know how old we are, so that's fine.
That's facts. That's facts. So,
um, One of the other things that I kind of noticed in the movie was like there were no like romantic relationships at all, like within the Warriors, and I didn't necessarily expect there to be like a storyline or anything like
mhm.
that. But I thought you would see like somebody holding hands or something like that.
um, I anticipated it.
Yeah,
I definitely anticipated it because I mean, damn, you're around a bunch of women all the time. Somebody's a lesbian.
somebody.
Yeah. So, and they can't be a lesbian by themselves. They need a
No.
partner. Right? So, no, I definitely anticipated it. It seemed like it was kind of going there with the one with the nails.
Oh, you think so?
It felt like we wanted it to go there, or like we was thinking that was her,
Hmm.
or we was anticipating it was her,
Hmm.
but she didn't give us that. And then like that one scene when she was braiding the hair and she was talking about somebody, I was assuming that she was talking about a girl, you know. But
Hmm.
we really we don't know who she was talking about. So
Yeah, and I just thought that was so odd.
yeah, but the movie is PG-13 too.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, I'm not like, but like I said, I was like, I thought you might see somebody holding hands, which you would absolutely see in like a PG-13 movie.
yeah, yeah. But even with the one relationship that was boy girl, they didn't
Hmm.
really do anything either.
That was also very strange because it seemed like they wanted to keep it, but also they kind of didn't want it at the same time.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I knew that she couldn't because remember she swore off men.
well, no, I mean like the movie itself, because like honestly, they're not bad together. Like the two actors, they do a pretty good job together. They have pretty nice chemistry, or whatever. Even
I
if I might find his character a little like flat, and I don't really care about him that much. He's not a bad actor. But there is like a scene near the end of the film where they're together, right? And he's purchased her to like save her from what is
right, right.
happening. And it seemed like a moment where they're gonna kiss, right?
Hmm.
And they don't. Fine, okay. But then the next time we see them, she's naked, wrapped up in a blanket, and he's running into the room half naked. And I'm like, huh?
Right.
What they were fully clothed before.
Everybody was confused on that. Everybody was confused
Yes,
on that. Because I watched another review and they was confused on that too. I feel like there's a deleted scene.
there absolutely is, because that made
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like, how do you go from being fully clothed to being naked?
Yeah, because it
Like,
wasn't even like she was changing clothes, because he had to bring her clothes.
right.
And why is
Exactly.
he half naked?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Like, there's something missing. And I feel like whoever is the editor felt like we didn't need to know what was missing, and we most definitely need to know what's missing.
Right.
So, yeah,
That was just kind of like really glaring for me. I was like,
yeah,
did we miss a storyline? What happened?
we missed something. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what happened, but Yeah, because like he washed her hands and that was it. Next thing you know, she's naked. Yeah.
It's like,
And then he brought her clothes. So
right.
she was just in there naked.
And he came into the room half naked, but he had on clothes before. So I just
Right. Right. And he didn't have blood on his clothes. So,
no.
yeah. Yeah. That one, yeah.
Yeah, that was very like a head scratcher for me. I did
Mm,
love all the action scenes. I thought the action was great. Just like
yeah.
you said, like all the training and stuff they did was there on the screen.
Hmm.
The action scenes were clear because a lot of times, sometimes when you're watching action, I can't tell who's where or like what exactly happened to them, right?
Hmm.
Which is usually due to like bad choreography and bad editing. But that's not a problem here at all. Like I can tell everything that's happening, what's going on.
Hmm.
Um, I like how some of them have like fighting different fighting styles or different preferences for different weapons. I like
Yeah.
that because a lot of times you don't get that.
Right.
Um,
Right. Like the one with the nails.
the nails also Nawe's axe on a rope, uh,
Hmm.
which was also used in the movie Prey. But I love that weapon. It's really cool. So.
Yeah. And that was kind of full circle because remember she was talking shit about that rope.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's her
Exactly.
thing. And you know what's so funny is because when I took my goddaughter and she didn't have no clue what this movie was. She's 15 and she didn't never heard of it or anything like that. I don't know I don't know where she thought that it had anything to do with Wonder Woman,
Mhm.
but
She probably
she
just saw their
thought
costumes and thought, "Oh, that's
maybe
like," and heard they were Amazons and thought Wonder Woman.
I don't even think she heard the Amazon part, but she had Wonder Woman in her head going in. And so when we got out, she mentioned something about Wonder Woman. And I was like, well, hey, they had a rope. So there go your Wonder Woman. That's the closest we gonna get to a Wonder Woman, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, she does have a sister, Nubia.
Um yeah, she did. Right.
So maybe when we get some better directors and writers, we can get a Nubia movie because those Wonder Woman movies just they're trash. I'm sorry, I cannot. They're very bad films. They're not even fun. Unlike this one,
Yeah.
um, yeah, the people I were with, they clapped a few times. Some at some lines, some during the action scenes. People
Hmm.
were, like woo, like all that kind of stuff, like
Yeah,
during the
yeah, yeah.
movie. Um, and then what was it? I saw it Thursday right before it came out, and
Hmm.
then like that Friday morning, I noticed a hashtag on Twitter talking about boycott the Woman King,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And people were upset. People who clearly had not seen the movie. Uh, the whole argument was like, "Well, what if Jewish people made a movie glorifying Nazi soldiers?" It's like
Excuse
that
me.
analogy that doesn't work.
What if
That
Jewish
analogy.
soldiers made a
What if Jewish
movie about?
people made a movie glorifying Nazi soldiers? That's the argument. And it
That's
was
not the same. Yeah,
it's
that's not
not
the
at
same.
all.
Yeah.
First of all, like Africa, I mean not Africa, but slavery had existed in Africa before the Europeans got there, but it was
Mhm.
also a not the same kind of slavery we have in the United States. It
Right.
was very different. You know, but that is it's a real, but that is it's not Nazis. It's not like it's not the same thing,
Right.
right? And it's not about like how righteous and glorious they were, or it's that's not what's happening in the movie. They do talk about slavery. They do talk about how slavery had enriched them greatly,
Hmm.
right? So it wasn't like they were trying to hide it from that or whatever. And just like you did have, if you want to go with the Nazi Germany comparison, uh, you had people who did not agree with what was happening.
Yeah,
But that comparison just does not work.
no, no, the comparison doesn't work, but it seemed like the way I interpreted it from the movie was that they were making it seem like they were taking their enemies and selling them into slavery.
Hmm.
And what I read about them was that they were going into tribes, killing the adults, stealing the kids, and selling the kids into slavery.
Hmm. They did both.
Okay, so
Because like having, warring with another nation or tribe, and then taking the prisoners
taking
and
the
selling them
prison,
off slavery, very common. So they would have definitely done that.
yeah, but they did. So it was like a half truth that the movie was telling.
But then also, it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
So
Right. And that was my argument with a lot of
yeah,
people because I was just like, we cannot look to movies to educate us. We have to look to Hollywood to entertain us. We need to look to schools and to books to educate us, which unfortunately they're not doing.
and they plan
And
on
that's where the problem is.
outlawing basically like.
Right. Right. And that's where the
There's some place,
problem
some
lies.
movies like a movie like this you wouldn't be able to show in some places.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. and that's where the main problem lies. But then you have some people that are just like, well, I filter what I watch, so I'm not gonna subject myself to watch something like this.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to, but boycott the movie because you haven't actually seen it and your arguments are incorrect. Like quite clearly, if you've seen the movie, what you're saying is not applicable. Like, and
Hmm.
that's their movies are good for piquing your curiosity. Just like you said, you saw the trailer and you decided to do your research.
Yeah, yeah, because before I saw the trailer I had never heard of them.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so
I know there are several thousand more people who had not heard of them before
hmm,
this, who will now
right,
go and do the research.
right, right. But then some people are gonna take this as this is what happened and that's just what it is. And
Yeah,
that's the problem. That's
right.
the problem.
We definitely need to teach critical thinking and media literacy in schools as well.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't help you with that one, buddy. That one's on you.
Right, right, because it's like they do take creative liberties, and
Yeah.
you can fact check. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I say. Like, view it and then fact check, or educate and then review. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? But to just completely turn your back on it, I don't think that's something that is is something that I would do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
I don't
and
think I don't think that's productive.
the ideal they're looking for is unfair too, right?
Hmm.
If you have movies like Gladiator and Braveheart, and you have movies like The Last Samurai, stuff like that,
Hmm.
who
Right.
more than blatantly, lie and make up things that they're just not
Right.
as accurate.
Right.
But they don't get that same kind of criticism because everybody knows this is just a movie.
Right. Right. Exactly. And and then on top of that, let's just be real. Like, black people are so hard on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're quick to down something that has something to do with us before we down something else.
Right. Or it
Yeah.
has to be perfect. It has to reach this level of perfection,
Yeah.
particularly when you're featuring dark skinned black women.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because some of the other things I was seeing in the hashtag were things like, "Oh, you're suppressing the truth for the empowerment of these black women." It's like that's not at all what.
Oh wow.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So they were going there, huh?
Right.
Because I didn't
You
even
know,
I didn't even go read the hashtag. Like, I just was like, oh, there's a hashtag. Okay.
I read it because I was like, "What?" Because I knew people were going to be mad, because people are always mad.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, well, what is it this time? Like what's the
Mm-hmm.
argument for this one? Right?
Yeah.
And that was part of what I saw. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but again, like y'all are asking for a lot that you don't ask for these other films that are similar
Mm-hmm.
in tone, inspired by, based on.
Mm-hmm.
You're not blaming them for being not telling the entire completely historically accurate thing of the people that you're starring. Like, what is the difference?
Yeah.
Why is perfection and like total historical accuracy suddenly demanded of this film?
Right. Right. A great question. You know. Um. I mean. I don't know. It's for me. I personally wouldn't have picked them to make a movie about.
Hmm.
Um. But the movie is great. Like, and then that's the killer part about it, because once you do see people's reviews that have actually seen it, they love the movie.
Hmm.
Like everybody, like on my news feed on Facebook, that actually wrote on there that they just went and saw the movie, I didn't see not one negative
I
thing.
haven't seen it either. Everybody
Yeah.
I know who's seen the movie loved it, wanted to see
Now,
it again.
right. Now, back to the movie. What do you think about that plot twist about the girl being Naniska's
Oh,
daughter?
um, I mean, okay. The thing about that storyline that I don't particularly care for is the whole thing of her being raped. Not that that's not a thing that didn't happen. Not that the movie didn't do it sensitively, right?
Hmm.
Just that women being raped in films as motivation is like a very tired trope. A lot of the
Okay.
time, you see it. It's extremely. It's to me, it's extremely frequent. Like you have
Hmm.
this whole. Have you ever heard of like fridging?
Mm,
So
no.
fridging is when the main character. It started off in comic books, really, where this male character's wife was literally put into a fridge, and like that's how she was murdered, and that's like his motivation for whatever comes next. But you
Okay.
see it a lot in films where you have your main character, someone next to the main character is murdered, and that's their motivation for everything that comes.
Oh,
So
like on some John Wick type shit.
right, exactly. Only at least John Wick is not really taking itself all that serious.
Yeah.
But um, but yeah, so you see that a lot. It's a trope, and it's just like okay, yeah. Um, I felt like we still could have had like some emotional attachments where it didn't have to be her. I mean, she didn't necessarily have to be her daughter. She didn't necessarily have to be raped to have the baby. Like I feel like we could have worked that around a little bit better. Because the one thing, like the whole thing where she's like, "Yeah, and I cut your arm and I put a shark's tooth in it, and it's still in her body 19 years later." I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah. You would have thought that it would have worked its way out by now.
Worked its way out. She would have gotten an
Yeah.
infection. Like I don't. I don't.
Right. Because I mean, they was in the middle of the forest. I'm sure their hands wasn't clean. Like
Right. I was like, I
that
don't
arm would have been
understand.
gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe if she like cut a symbol in the skin or something like that, because I've heard of that.
Yeah. Like,
Uh,
carving her up or a little bit or something. But,
Carving up newborn.
right.
Right. But
I'm
the
put
whole
my
thing with
initials
the
on you.
shark's tooth, I was like, I no, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
What did you think about
Okay.
that storyline?
I saw it a mile away. I
Mm-hmm.
saw that was very easy. That was very lazy. Um, and I don't think that we needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was just one more extra thing that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like their connection was already there before this added thing, you know. Um, but it did make sense because she was a warrior that got captured.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have known how she got away,
Yeah.
you know. So, but the whole thing with her being a warrior that got captured, that made sense because again, they swore off men.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, it made sense that it had to be Ray, because she took her job very seriously,
yeah,
obviously. So
yeah.
she
She
wasn't
just,
messing
I
with
was
no
like, could
man.
have
Yeah.
been a little sister, could have been, some other relative or whatever. Who knows?
Hmm.
But that storyline needed some tightening up. It really did. And
Hmm.
like, I love the idea of her like having the dream of the beast, and then realizing like the beast is her and how she needs to face her past and stuff like that. Like, I love that. But I feel like we could definitely have worked on that just a little, tighten that up a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think about the king's wife? What did you think about that character?
I felt like we needed more from her, right? She
Yeah.
felt
Like I
very
needed to
flat.
know what the reason. Yeah. I needed to know
Yeah,
the reason why she was like this.
yeah.
Like what
I
was her
want to see
issue?
more court intrigue, right? Like
Mhm.
Game of like, well, House of the Dragon right now, like it's all like court intrigue, right? What's going to happen with
Mhm.
this very like small group of people and why people are socially climbing and stuff like that. We don't really get that from her. We just know that
Yeah.
she's ambitious. She wants to be named the Woman King. Okay, but like, why? Who is she? Where is she
Right.
from? What does she want?
Right.
Why does she want this?
And then you already got the title of wife. So
Like first
I'm
wife.
first wife at that. So
Hmm,
why are we giving you woman king again?
I don't know.
Like what
Why do you want
qualifications?
this? Right. Why do you even
Right.
want this though? Like, what do you want to do with it?
Right. Right. So
It just
yeah.
felt like it just felt thin. Yeah.
Yeah, it was extremely thin, and it didn't we don't understand why. Like,
What's her
why do you have an
motivation?
issue? Right. What's your motivation? Why do you have an issue? Like,
And I feel
where
like
where
some
did
of
you
that
come
was
from?
probably
What?
explored in those earlier scenes that were really short.
Yeah. Yeah, or missing altogether. So,
Hmm. And then I also didn't like her makeup look. Not that there was anything wrong with her makeup look. Like the makeup was well done and she looked beautiful in it, but it was
mhm.
just extremely modern.
I saw that in your tweets. Um, I didn't mind it.
I was like, I want to see some
Yeah.
more like African, at least, of the time inspired makeup. It doesn't have to be like completely historical accuracy, but like make me think she's not wearing a full lid of gold eyeshadow that you got, like from MAC or something. Like,
Yeah.
but I know that's just me. Like that's just me. So like
Yeah.
it just stood out, especially compared to like all the other women in the film, of course, where most of the warriors and they're really wearing like nude makeup and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But then also some of the other wives had more kind of African looking, what you would think of as African looking, like makeup and stuff like that. But hers was
Yeah.
very, very modern.
Maybe they did that because they needed her to stand out that much more because her
But I felt like they
beauty,
did that with her
like,
hair and everything, like her hair and everything, her
but
costuming.
it was like a whole presentation as a whole because if she stood out with her hair and her clothing and stuff and then her makeup was just there, then
Well,
that
I
wouldn't
don't
make
think it
sense.
would need to be just there, but maybe we don't do a full lid of gold eyeshadow, you
Well,
know.
it had to be extravagant, and she's the first wife. It had to
But
be
you could do it
extravagant.
in a different way, right? So you could do it where it might be like a stripe across the eyes, right? Or some. But I did love the hair that she had, where it was like covered in cowrie shells.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, her hair
literal
was
money.
banging.
That's literal money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Her hair was banging. Her hair was
Yeah.
banging. Um, but yeah, her character fell extremely flat. I wish they would have spent a little bit more
Mm,
time with her because we just don't understand why she's like that.
mm. She comes off petty and shallow,
Yeah,
but it's just because we don't know anything about her.
right, right, exactly, exactly. You know what the king kind of reminded me of? the way they portrayed George W. Bush in W. How basically Dick Cheney was the one running the country,
Oh,
but he had to make W feel like he was the one running the country.
mm.
So it was kind of like Niska had his ear, and she was very persuasive, and she knew that he was going to, sway her way, but he had he had to say it. It wasn't 100% like W and Cheney, but
Well, that's that
it
old,
kind of was.
I am the monarch kind of power, kind of, but like,
Right, right, right. But that's like the first thing that came to my mind was W. Yeah. So, because there was a few times where he kind of went on ahead and swayed her way, but it was him that had to make the decision,
mhm.
even
Oh
though
yeah.
we know
Well, I
that
mean,
low
that's
key she
almost
made the
like
decision.
Black Panther too, right? Like, Nakia is the one with the answer, but we have to go through the whole movie for T'Challa to be
Mm,
like, "Oh yeah, Nakia, you were right."
right. This whole time, So, but yeah. Um, was there any other key points that you wanted to hit?
Not that I can think of. What about you?
No, no. I think we hit the key points and the controversy. You
Yes,
know. So,
but overall, I think we would both say it's definitely worth your time.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Do you want to rate it?
Well, not yet because like it's only out now, right? It's been
Mm-hmm.
number one for one weekend, so we don't know the full impact as of it as of yet. But I think both of us saying like, yeah, we both enjoyed it. You should definitely see it. Everybody who saw it said they loved it.
Right, right. Because again, like everybody that I saw that actually watched it, I haven't saw one negative comment.
Yeah,
All the negative comments are coming from people that have not seen it.
who have not seen it are not interested in seeing it and really just want to hate on it.
Yeah, yeah. Which is unfortunate. Which
It
is
is unfortunate.
unfortunate.
I think a lot of people are looking at this as like kind of like a historical drama instead of like a blockbuster action movie.
Yeah. And I think what kills it is the whole inspired by true events.
But
I
there are
feel
so
like if they,
many action movies that are like that. Like it
yeah,
shouldn't be a special thing for this film. You know what I mean?
I agree to a certain extent, but I feel like because of they chose to base it off of and the dark past of that tribe, that's killing it. If they were to have made like a fictional tribe, and if you did your research you would have found out where they based it off of instead of saying inspired by, then
Nah.
maybe it would have been received a little better.
Mm, I honestly don't think so. To be like, black women in a lot of eyes can never do anything right. So you might as well just do what you want. Um,
Yeah,
like even if it had been like that, there would be some other things being said about why about black women in the movie. I don't think you can
yeah,
ever really escape it, and it doesn't seem to have harmed the film, right? Like it is still number
yeah.
one,
You're right.
and everybody who's seen it has
You're
liked
right.
it. So
You're right. I would love
I
to know
do
the
like,
demographics of who saw it.
yeah, I do like I do like that they said it was inspired by or based on these real people and everything because I think we could definitely use more of that, especially coming from different nations in Africa, especially uh, pre-colonial or during colonial or
Hmm.
I would love to see more of that period.
Yeah,
Whether the truth is harder to swallow than others.
yeah.
Let me see that. I want my African Game of Thrones. Is what I'm saying. You know.
That would be awesome. You
Yeah.
know, that would be really awesome. Um, But yeah, yeah, I think we should hold off on the ranking as well. But yeah, I would really love to know the demographic of people that actually went and viewed it.
Oh, that's a
So
good question. I'm sure there's some of that somewhere, you know.
yeah, yeah, maybe they did that with like the screenings or something.
Well, I've seen it for other like films. Like I've seen like and 40% of blah blah blah.
Hmm.
But I just don't know where you actually find that information
Yeah.
because I'm looking at Box Office Mojo, but again, it's really soon because they have lots of different kinds of rankings,
Hmm.
but it's really soon, so they don't have anything quite like that up,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But I would like to see that too. Because what was it? Lashana Lynch posted a thank you video today, which included like screenshots of tweets and other TikToks talking about the Woman King. And
Hmm.
there are definitely quite a few men who were involved in those. So, but I would like to see that too.
Yeah. 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 I think that would be very interesting.
Hmm.
Um. But yeah. So Maria, where can we reach you?
Oh, well, you can reach me online pretty much anywhere at Valar More Dollars. That's VALARMOR Dollars. You can also find me on the Nerdgasm Noir podcast, where it's me and like five other Black women talking about geeky, nerdy things. And we love to do that. We just can't stop talking. It's great. But where can they find you, Lindsay?
I'm everywhere at L_Renell. That's L_RANELLE. And then I also have a another podcast as well called The Ish We Talk. And that's me and two other co-hosts, and we talk about various topics. This
Have you
past
talked
week,
about this?
this past week we talked about PMB Rock and his passing, unfortunately. And
That was crazy.
yeah, yeah. So I have a friend who is a Los Angeles native, and he came on the show and he talked about um basically the culture out there and how um the Roscoe's that he was at was the Roscoe's that you do not go to.
Mm,
Yeah. So that was a very interesting conversation right there. So yeah. So RIP to PNB Rock. Uh, um but yeah. So that was our bonus episode about the
yeah.
Woman King. Hope everyone that hears our voice will go in and view the movie
Yes,
and let us
because
know what you
it
think.
costs $50 million to make.
Mm-hmm.
They projected it would make 12 million for its first weekend, and it's beating its projections for with about 19 million. So,
Oh, that's awesome. That boycott, no, that is awesome.
hmm
Yeah. So yeah, so everybody that hears our voice, I hope y'all will go out there and view it
yes,
because it is definitely worth your time
yes,
and
and leave some
money.
comments. Let us know what you think of it. Let us
Yeah.
know if you had any questions. This conversation changed your mind, or if you're more curious. If you knew about the Dahomey Warriors before this, leave us a comment, write us a review, share the video. Let us know. Join the Roomie fam.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Until next time, we will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye. He's still recording.
It's thinking.
Mm.
Hold on.